Okay, I'm going to just do this one old school. Links in the description by David Nino Rodriguez and Marfoogle News. At 27 minutes in the David Nino Rodriguez link, he explains that there is a lawsuit threatened by the maker of the video game called Arma 3 for copyright infringement if they didn't stop running that video footage on the news claiming that it was wartime airstrike footage. This happened not too long ago when we were involved in Syria and Russia was defending Syria and wouldn't let us topple Assad, that they put video on the news from a Kentucky gun show. And on the news they were claiming it was an attack on the poor Syrian people and they're getting slaughtered and casualties and the death reports are starting to come in. They were reporting the casualties before someone pointed out and put the two footages side by side, said, here's the Kentucky gun show footage, here's your attack in Syria, and you can match them up and they are exact. So they were trying to pass off footage from a Kentucky gun show as wartime footage coming from Syria, that we need to go save the Syrian people from that evil Ruski. And now they're doing it again, except they're using video game footage. And they didn't take it off the news because they were afraid of having to pay out money for a copyright infringement lawsuit that they lost. They took it off because they knew that would get the normies' attention. If people like you and me could go to the normie and say, look, lawsuit by the maker of this video game for copyright infringement because these news broadcasts are using this video game maker's patented intellectual properties, their video game footage, and showing it to you and claiming it's their footage from a war that's going on. That would get the normies' attention. Go, wait a minute, what? A lawsuit, copyright infringement from a video game maker against the news broadcast company? That would get the normies' attention. Whether or not they won or lost the lawsuit doesn't matter. That's why they pulled the footage, is because the understanding that this company is filing a copyright infringement lawsuit against the news broadcast company for using their video game footage and passing it off as wartime footage would get the attention of the people that aren't supposed to see it. On Marfoogle News, at 45 minutes in, the link in the description, Marfoogle's talking about, at one point he says 2 miles. He says you wouldn't just line up all of your whole fleet in a 40-mile long convoy in order to let the enemy just go along like Nintendo style, like line up your ducks and then just pick them off all in a row. That doesn't happen. Something else is going on here. James True has been telling you since before we heard anything about Phase 2 that's going on now. He was telling you about the inflatable fleet of today's video from James True. Link is in the description. He's going over all of the same stuff. The Davy Crockett rocket. The new version of the Davy Crockett is called the Dead Hand. At 28 minutes 30 seconds, David Nino Rodriguez talks about this. The new Russian nuclear missile thing is capable of firing all of their guns at once and will all explode into space because it can fire 30 nukes at once. It's like the new Davy Crockett rocket that James True's been showing you and telling you about. The inflatables, including that one that supposedly was leaving Afghanistan and had all those people clinging to the sides of it, and as it took off you saw people falling from it. Supposedly that was inflatable. I don't know. But what we're seeing here is that it's not all real and it's not all fake. Sure, there's people getting hurt, there's probably people dying. But most of what we're being shown is fake, and I know you all know that, but here's the evidence. The lawsuit filed by the video game maker Arma 3 against the news broadcasters for copyright infringement for using their video game footage and passing it off as an airstrike. Marfoogle's telling you the same thing. There's something a little fishy here. Why would someone just line up a whole convoy of all their equipment to let someone else go blow it all up? James True's been telling you about the Battle of the Kegs. He knew this was coming. He's been telling you about this since before Phase 2 started. How the British and the Americans were on opposite sides of the river, and someone floated a bunch of barrels of gunpowder down the river, and both the British and the Americans were told to shoot at those barrels of gunpowder in order to set it off. Just like they're going out there and putting barrels of guns out there and saying, and now anyone who wants to go grab a gun and shoot, it's all voluntary, it's of your own free will. This is a filtration process. Phase 2 is filtering out the people who saw that and noticed that, and the people that didn't. The people that didn't, and it's no fun waiting for the fall, and there'll be no more waiting for you all, and there'll be one more chance at the truth. Without you, I would die. We're waiting on a heartbreak. Is anybody listening? Waiting on a heartbreak. Can anybody hear me? That's the song Nights of Shame by AWOLNATION. I'm going to go over that soon. That heartbreak we're waiting on is what David Nino Rodriguez was talking about yesterday, saying those that took it got about 2 to 5 years to think about what they did. Now there's Phase 2. And there'll be one more chance at the truth, and without you, I would die. Those who are not in alignment with truth, they're liable to go pick up a gun. Those who can't see the fraud are being separated from those who can. This is a filtration on the consciousness farm. So I'm going to try and keep updates like this in real time. I'd like to wait till I get home and just show you David's video at the point where he says, video game makers are suing the news broadcast companies for a copyright infringement of their game Arma 3. I'd like to just show you that video, phone to phone. Because back when Phase 1 kicked off, I was just doing it like this, saying video links are in the description. At this point in the video, you can see that there's just a bunch of kids on a floor in a gymnasium, flopping around. Ain't nobody in pain. At this point in the video, you fast forward, you can see this guy clicking his pen at his office at the desk, and then suddenly he falls over. These are all the videos that came from China that set off Phase 1. And I was saying, none of this is believable. I wish I would have filmed it phone to phone, because that channel that put out all that propaganda called Newsmonger is gone. Newsmonger YouTube channel had been up for a few years, but not put out a single video until they put out their Chinese New Year video, which was their first video, and their second video got like 3 million views. And it was all that actor stuff going on. CV crisis actors. And I could see it right from the beginning. And I wish I would have filmed it phone to phone, because now you can't see it. You can't see how ridiculous that video footage that set this all off really was. But we're definitely behind the Iron Curtain. Plasma fire for the last 4 years alone shows you that. Anyway, because this is happening in real time and I seem to be able to see things in ways that others can't, I'll try and, when I come across stuff like this, I'd rather just wait until I get home and make the video, filming it phone to phone, and let you hear it in their own words. And let you see they are pointing towards exactly what James True's been telling us for the last, a month before Phase 2 started. He was preparing you for what you're about to see. In the theater of operations, we have bad actors over here. Get it? Because tonight when I go home, I'm going to make a moon video. And it's looking like Project Moonbeam is on the horizon. So I thought I'd just get this out of the way. If you're interested, if you want to keep up as things are happening in real time, because this information is limited time offer while supplies last, because soon after they erase it and they get rid of it. So you have to pay attention in real time and see it as it's happening, because you can't go back and look at it afterwards. They've erased it, they've scrubbed it, they've memory holed it, they've Fahrenheit 454'd it, or whatever that was, 451 or whatever. So it looks like Marv and David are telling us the same thing as James, and they're showing us that the stuff you're seeing isn't real. That's just one example that we can prove Because the video game maker who made that footage that they're trying to pass off as an airstrike from Ukraine said, hey, wait a minute, that's mine. That's my copyrighted intellectual property, and I'm going to sue you if you don't quit broadcasting it as if it's news. That's when they stopped broadcasting it. Not because they were afraid they'd have to pay the copyright infringement fee. Because they knew, uh-oh, this is enough to get the attention of the people that aren't supposed to see it. There's a filtration for a reason. Because you don't want to be surrounded by all these people anymore, do you? These people who believe that they're free. There are none more so enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free. We are on the Jim Jones Island, behind the Iron Curtain, where truth is a scarce commodity. Hold on. So things that are going on right now kind of lend credence to this idea of actor-based reality, where these actors on the world stage are literally actors. Like the leader of Ukraine, who was an actor, and one of the parts that he played, hold on, one of the parts that he played in one of the movies that he played in was the leader of Ukraine. And now he really is. Kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger becoming the governor of California, maybe. If previously he had played a part in a movie where he was the governor of California. So when Marfugel says you don't just line up your whole fleet to let the other guys take it out, that doesn't happen. Something else is going on here. There's theories out there that this leader of Ukraine is actually working with Putin to put on this whole charade. So we're definitely behind what they called the Iron Curtain. During the Cold War, they were like, no information gets in or out of Russia unless it's officially authorized, canonized doctrine of the dictatorship. Likewise, they still say the same thing about China. The Great Firewall of China. They have their internet so censored that no one in China gets to know any truth unless it's officially authorized by Xi himself. We are the ones that are behind the Iron Curtain. We are the ones that are on Jim Jones's island. We are about to get freed. There are forces about to breach the perimeter. But because we believe we already are free, anyone who shows up to give us freedom is really here to enslave us because we're already so free. But you know we're behind the Iron Curtain by the plasma fires alone. The fact that we're 4 years into this and still it's an unknown subject. And when those forces breach the perimeter, my plasma fire videos could be used something like a Project Bluebeam to wake people up, to really show them what they've been kept in the dark about. I'll probably cut this off here because my video tonight is going to talk about Project Moonbeam. Some things came together this morning for me that hit me like a ton of bricks. That'll be your teaser for the next video that I'll make tonight. 3 music videos linked in the description are Imagine Dragons on Top of the World, Imagine Dragons Monday, and It's Time by Imagine Dragons. Watch the videography, listen to the music, especially On Top of the World. Been waiting for this for a while now. Paying my dues to the dirt. That's a celebratory song for after the big revelation. It's Time and Monday. Monday is a depiction of the theatrics. It's time, like Monday. It's about after the reset. You're a whole new start, Monday. It's Time. Just watch them and decode the messages that are being delivered in those music videos for yourself.